Welcome to the deep dive. You know, with everyone talking about the Kitties and Cats 2 podcast, it really got us thinking.
hmm
What's the actual story behind, well, our obsession with cats? It's obviously way older than just like cat memes online.
Oh, definitely. Ages older.
So we decided to dig into it, the history of cats in art, culture, their whole impact on human society.
Exactly. And we've looked at quite a range of sources, historical accounts, cultural analyses, trying to uncover maybe some surprising things about this relationship we have with them.
Yeah, what's the mission here?
Well, the idea is to get a richer understanding, maybe, of why cats resonate so deeply, which hopefully adds, another dimension to watching Kitties and Cats too, gives it some context.
Okay, sounds good. So where do we start? Ancient world. Egypt always comes up first, right?
Actually, just the classic example, yeah. And they weren't just useful for catching mice, though they definitely did that.
Right, protecting the grain and all that.
Absolutely vital. But it went much, much deeper. Cats in ancient Egypt had this truly revered status.
Revered how? Like, worshipped.
In a way, yes. They were strongly associated with the goddess Bastet. She represented things like home, fertility, protection. Very powerful stuff. So the cat became a symbol of those positive forces.
Wow, so not just a pest controller, but a divine symbol.
Precisely. And we know this wasn't just a casual thing because of the evidence they left behind.
You mean the burials? I've heard about cat mummies. Is that real?
Oh, very real. Extensive burial rituals, mummification. I mean, these practices show a profound respect. You don't mummify just any animal.
Well, definitely not.
It tells you they had this deep spiritual significance, that their importance was believed to extend, well, beyond just their life on Earth. They were really woven into the fabric of Egyptian religion and daily life.
Okay, so Egypt sets a pretty high bar for cat appreciation. Did that sort of reverence, or at least importance, spread? What about other ancient cultures?
It did spread, but it also shifted. Different cultures picked up on different aspects, perhaps, that independence cats have, their sort of mysterious nature.
Yeah, that aloofness sometimes.
Exactly. That seems to have captured imaginations elsewhere, too. In Roman mythology, for instance, you see them linked with Diana
Goddess of the hunt.
and the moon. Again, a powerful, independent female figure. So there's a pattern, maybe, of associating them with autonomy, agility, mystery.
So those traits we still see today. The agility, the independence, they were part of the package right from the start, mythologically speaking.
It really seems that way. These inherent feline qualities just spark something in people across different cultures, interpreted through their own beliefs.
And that naturally flowed into how they were shown in art, I imagine.
Absolutely. Early art is a fantastic window into this. Egyptian art, as you'd expect, often shows them very formally, almost regal.
Reflecting that high status.
Right. The features are distinct, carefully done. But then if you look at, say, early Greek or Roman art, it can be a bit different.
How so?
Well, sometimes the style is more about fitting them into the existing artistic conventions of the time, maybe less focused on hyper-realistic detail and more on, what the cat represents symbolically within that scene.
Interesting. So different priorities in the art itself.
Yeah, it gives you hints about how they viewed cats within their broader worldview.
Okay, let's jump forward a bit then. The Renaissance.
Yeah.
Big changes in art, society.
Yeah.
How did cats fare? Did their image change much?
The Renaissance is fascinating because, well, it gets more complicated. You start seeing a bit of a split personality for cats in art.
A split.
Meaning,
Fair.
on one hand, yes, they're still symbols of domestic life, of companionship. You see them in cozy indoor scenes, but you also start to see that darker association creeping in more strongly, particularly with witchcraft and superstition.
Ah, the black cat connection starting.
It definitely gets amplified then.
Hmm.
Think of artists like Peter Bruegel the Elder. Sometimes cats appear in his works in contexts that feel, well, ominous, linked to folklore and maybe societal anxieties of the period.
So not always the cozy pet.
Not always, but then you've got Leonardo da Vinci or Albert Dürer including them in more sort of everyday contexts too, maybe just observing them. So it suggests this duality, still part of the home for many, but also carrying this baggage of superstition for others. It makes their presence really interesting in Renaissance art.
Navigating that line between familiar and feared. Okay, shifting gears again. Japan. Japanese art feels like a whole different world for cats, doesn't it? Much more positive.
Oh, completely. Japanese art really embraces cats. Their aesthetic beauty, their cultural significance, it's celebrated.
The lucky cat. The Mamakineka.
Exactly. The beckoning cat, it's iconic. And what's really cool is how that single image evolved. Different colors, different paws raised, all signifying different kinds of luck or prosperity.
Yeah, you see them everywhere. White ones, gold ones, black ones.
And it shows how deeply embedded that positive association is. It's not just a quirky figurine, it's a powerful cultural symbol that's lasted for centuries.
And it wasn't just a Making-Echo, right? They feature elsewhere, too.
Oh, absolutely. Cats became a really beloved subject in woodblock prints, for example. Ukiyo-e prints often show cats with such elegance.
Just part of daily life scenes.
Often, yes. Integrated into the home, sometimes looking very much like part of the family. They weren't just background details, they could be central figures, symbolizing good fortune, domestic peace, a really warm portrayal compared to some European art of the same time.
Quite the contrast. So bringing us more up-to-date modern art. Does that complexity, that duality continue, or do artists go in new directions?
Modern art really takes all those threads and runs with them, you could say. You see incredibly diverse interpretations.
Like who?
Well, think of Matisse, how he captured their grace with those fluid lines, or Picasso, maybe showing them with more sort of fragmented perspectives, exploring their form.
Right, different styles reflecting different aspects.
Exactly. Even more contemporary artists, maybe someone like Damien Hirst, might engage with cats in ways that provoke thought about our whole relationship with animals and their cultural perception. It shows cats are still very much a source of inspiration, constantly being reinterpreted.
Which makes sense given their huge cultural impact today. I mean, the internet.
Oh, the internet, yeah.
You basically can't avoid cats online. It feels like they still carry so much symbolic weight, even just in memes. And the superstitions haven't vanished either, has they?
Not at all. That duality we talked about, it's still here. In many Western cultures, you still get that lingering link to witchcraft, especially black cats, right? Bad luck crossing your path.
Yeah, definitely still a thing.
But then in other cultures, they're seen as protectors, warding off evil spirits, bringing good luck. It's amazing how varied these deep-seated beliefs still are.
And speaking of cultural figures, the whole cat lady thing, that's become such a loaded term, hasn't it?
It really has. The cat lady archetype is, well, it's a prime example of how society shapes these ideas. It probably started simply describing a woman with cats, maybe even implying independence.
But it didn't stay that simple.
No. Media portrayals often twisted it, didn't they? Made it synonymous with, like, loneliness, eccentricity, maybe being unlucky in love. It became a stereotype.
A pretty negative one, often.
Often, yes. And it's important we kind of push back against that, or at least examine it, because the reality is cat ownership provides genuine comfort and companionship for millions of people, men and women. The stereotype misses that completely.
Good point. And okay, back to the internet, because we have to. Why? Why cats? What made them the sort of unofficial mascots of the digital age?
It's a great question. I think part of it is just them being them. Their expressions, their unpredictable behavior.
Or like jumping in boxes they definitely don't fit in.
Exactly. Or that look of utter disdain they can give. It's perfect fodder for memes. It's relatable. It's funny. And it crosses language barriers.
Universal language of grumpy cat faces.
Pretty much. And social media just amplifies it all. It creates this massive shared global experience centered around watching cats do silly or sometimes graceful things. They found a whole new stage online.
So when you boil it all down, after centuries of reverence, fear, artistic interpretation, internet fame, what's the core of their enduring appeal? Why are they still such popular companions?
I think it really comes down to that unique blend they have, that mix of independence and affection.
They give love, but on their own terms.
Kind of, yeah. They have these distinct personalities, don't they? They aren't always demanding attention. Maybe in our super busy, always connected lives, there's something appealing about an animal that's perfectly happy doing its own thing, but will also curl up with you later.
That makes sense, the self-assuredness.
Right. And you see things like cat cafes popping up. People actively seek out that calm, quiet interaction with cats. It seems to fulfill a need for many. It can be quite therapeutic.
And they haven't just been companions in life, but in our stories, too. Literature seems full of cats.
Oh, definitely. They play all sorts of roles in literature. Sometimes they're whimsical, like the Cheshire Cat, you know.
Yeah?
Other times they're deeply symbolic, representing freedom, mystery, maybe the wilder side of nature. Or sometimes they're just there as beloved pets, grounding a story and adding emotional depth.
Any specific authors come to mind?
Well, T.S. Eliot obviously gave us a whole collection about practical cats. Hemingway was famously a cat lover. Even in fantasy, like J.K. Rowling's work, cats like Crookshanks play significant roles. They just fit into narratives really well, tapping into that human-animal bond.
So looking forward then, we've got this incredibly rich history, this ongoing internet presence. How do you see cats continuing to shape art and culture, especially with like new tech?
That's the exciting part, isn't it? Thinking about the future. I mean, imagine virtual reality or augmented reality. Could that offer new ways to interact with cat art or even virtual
Like
cats?
a holographic cat buddy.
Maybe. And social media isn't going away. It'll likely keep shaping how we see cats, what trends emerge, but the core fascination, I suspect that's here to stay. It'll just find new ways to express itself.
Okay, so wrapping this up, it's pretty clear our connection with cats is, well, ancient, complex, and definitely not going anywhere.
Not at all. From being seen as divine in Egypt to basically ruling the internet today, they've constantly mirrored aspects of our own societies and beliefs back at us.
It really makes you understand why something like the Kitties and Cats 2 podcast hits home for so many people. It taps into this long shared history.
Exactly right. Their enduring appeal, whether as symbols, muses for artists, or just, our furry friends purring on the sofa, says a lot.
So for all of you enjoying the Cat Characters and Kitties and Cats 2 podcast, maybe thinking about this long history, the reverence, the superstition, the art, adds another layer to why those portrayals feel so resonant. And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. Considering this incredible journey cats have had through human culture, what's next? What totally new, unexpected ways might they weave themselves into our lives and art in the years ahead?
It's fascinating to ponder.
It is. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.